Welcome to Strait Forward, a podcast about Taiwan, the island at the center of technological innovation and the global fight for democracy. I'm your host, Channing Lee, and today I'm excited to talk about the role that film and media play in public perception on all the topics that we talk about here at SCSP. Film and television don't just reflect geopolitics, they actually play a really important role in shaping how the public understands war and conflict. Film and media have always played some sort of role in this. We've seen a lot of movies in the past portray different world wars, whether ancient, complex, or more recent ones. I always use Top Gun as an example because when the movie came out, it inspired a whole generation of young women and men to join the U.S. Navy and serve our country. Similarly, when Top Gun Maverick came out a few years ago, it reminded us again of that sense of patriotism. But the global film industry has also been deeply entangled in geopolitics, whether they want to be or not. And we've seen that most evident in Hollywood's really complicated relationship with China. They've always wanted to maintain access to the Chinese market. Great, there's 1.4 billion people there in China. Yet the Chinese Communist Party places really large censors on the content that can be played there. And so we've seen how scripts have been altered, scenes have been removed, how different actors might be sanctioned if they're saying certain things. We've seen a lot of film studios choosing to avoid topics altogether in order to maintain that access to the Chinese market. So that web of complicated relationships has been explored extensively over the last few years in public media, but it also explains why we have yet to see a movie or a television show about one of the biggest potential conflicts that we might have, which is that over Taiwan. I just want to give you a few examples of how American movies have needed to change their scripts or alter some part of their storyline in order to make sure that their movie could be played in China. There's a movie called Red Dawn in which the Chinese antagonists actually were digitally altered to be North Koreans so that their movie could be played in China. You had World War Z, in which references to China as the origin of the global pandemic were also removed. In Doctor Strange, the origin of one of the characters, the Tibetan origin of one of the characters was also changed. And then, of course, even in Top Gun Maverick, Maverick had a Taiwan flag on his jacket, and that was removed when the movie was played in China. So just a few examples of how, some might say Hollywood is kowtowing, but really that a lot of Hollywood studios have needed to be careful about the content that they're producing. Against that backdrop, I'm really excited to have a conversation with the creators of a new television show out of Taiwan called 0 Day Attack. It is the very first film media production that directly confronts the potential of a China-Taiwan conflict. Of course, it's should not be surprising as to why it's taken so long for something like this to have been produced. They continue to face their own challenges as they try to seek a global audience for their show. But I'm really excited to be able to speak with their creators on how this concept came about, how the reception has been in Taiwan, and kind of the next steps for the TV show. So the TV show itself came out last summer in 2025. It was produced completely in Taiwan. It was actually made for a domestic Taiwanese audience, but it also now plays in Japan. The show itself is an anthology of 10 episodes, and so each episode explores a different facet of Taiwanese society grappling with this impending invasion by the PLA of Taiwan. First, I'm excited to be joined by Jin-Chang. He is the executive producer of 0 Day Attack. He also brings to the show extensive experience working in Taiwanese politics and in the government. He also worked in the National Security Council of Taiwan between 2000 and 2008. We are also excited to be joined by David Cao, their marketing director. And because Mr. Lin will be speaking in Mandarin, David will kindly translate for us. So thank you to our listeners for your patience on this front, but it's going to be a very, very exciting and worthwhile conversation. We're also joined in spirit by Xingmei Chen, who unfortunately cannot join us, but as the producer, she was the brains behind all of this, so want to give her a shout out as well. So with that, please join me in welcoming them to Strait Forward.
David, Jin-Chang, 谢谢你来. Thank you for joining me on Strait Forward. Welcome to the Strait Forward studio here in DC.
Yes, thank you. Our pleasure. Yes.
I'm so glad that you're here to do some U.S. showings of your show. I'm really, really excited today to talk to you about your show, Zero Day Attack, but also just the general role that film and media play in the civilian mindset, right? So first, of course, to introduce your show, I would love to ask you, what inspired the initial creation of Zero Day Attack?
Mm-hmm. All right. So I will take this one, right? So this is actually it's a very historical moment actually, because it's actually the very first TV series about this topic, Taiwan Strait war. And the whole idea actually came from the producer Zheng. It's a pity that she's actually just here, right? She's just cannot having voice now for sharing this, but it's all her idea back in the many years ago. But until 3 years ago, during the when seeing Ukraine situation in Hong Kong, and then really made her want to develop this story, make that happen. Just also because, it's also want to showcase that we have a freedom of, creation in Taiwan, and like she felt the urgency trying to make that story heard, not only in Taiwan but to the rest whole world. Yeah, so that's actually the whole idea starting happening and make that happen.
Xingmei's vision came to life.
Exactly. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the format of the series as well, right? It's an anthology, so there are 10 episodes. Each episode explores a different storyline. I mean, the characters all exist in the same world, right? But each episode explores a different perspective. So you had some youth perspective, you had older folks' perspectives, you have people maybe in the military, content creators, everyday people. So tell us about how you thought through that. Why did you choose this format to kind of tell this story from multiple perspectives?
Yeah. All right. I think I want to jump back to the last question about, because 3 years ago, like she may also found our executive producer Jin-Chang about, and share the idea with him, and saying that she wants to make this project. And so and because of like Jin-Chang's professional background back in the time, he used to serve in the National Security Council in the government for many years. So with a lot of know-how that can help with that. Yeah, so that's also how they make that all together, and make it realize in later. It was actually last year. So yeah, coming back to this, so at the time it was really difficult to form a team that to curate all the talents to tell this story. It's judging that this is really a very sensitive topic, especially in entertainment industry for many years in Taiwan. A lot of times that people just tend not to talk about this publicly, and also in a lot of commercial contracts that in the entertainment industry in Taiwan, no politics, it's like taboo that you don't want to, because in terms of concerning Chinese market at the time. So, so at the time, it's really like starting them, and then they really start finding more directors. In what I remember is like in 2 weeks, like a lot of the directors say yes, they want to join and tell the story all together. But with that many directors, we need to keep it, like a sort of like they can tell their own, tell a story in their own way. Yeah, the sort of
10 episodes, 10 directors.
10 directors. Yeah, 10 kind of formats or different way to express artistically. So that's how we use this as an anthology format, right? Do you want to add on something?
Yeah，当初提出新妹集数这样的构想，我们想到的是，不管我们称它是 D-Day 或者是 Zero Day，它过去指的是特定的一天，攻击发起的一天。可是事实上，在台湾，真实的状况是，我们面对对岸的威胁是每一天都有的。
Okay, so so when during like when it was just about to begin, right? We talk about the D-Day or 0 Day, but actually the invasion or attack from China is to Taiwanese people is every day.
对啊，所以当新妹提出这样的想法的时候，我因为过去有在国安会还有总统府服务的背景，所以我们就把过去曾经兵推过的中国的渗透，或者是对台湾的民众的压迫的军事的压迫或各方面经济的压迫各方面的状况，来把这样的 scenario 能够放到这个戏剧里面。
So, yeah, when producer Xingmei raised up this idea, I actually just tried to, put my knowledge back in my experience back in the National Security Council or in the government, to put it into practice and trying to make that more authentic. Judging that, we just try to depict the different scenarios of the gray zone tactics. About the economically, politically, or in any sense that how they try to do the infiltration to our society. So we just put that into our stories.
所以选择用10部连篇剧集的方式，是我们认为战争不是只有政府或者是军队的事情，它真正受到影响的其实是所有的民众。那不管你在什么样的职业、什么样的社会阶级，所以我们希望透过不同的角色，用不同的角度来思考当面临战争的时候，人性的脆弱或者是人性的勇敢。好，所以我们选择了用10个连篇剧集的方式来呈现。
Right. So the reason why I use anthology also because that when it comes to war, it is not actually only related to government or military to military. It's actually every person, every walks of life will be involved. So by using this format, we can actually also depict like all walks of lives, like how everybody face this vulnerability or the braveness of the decision that when they face war from different social classes, different career, I think they have their stories to tell. So not only certain group of people. So by using this format, I think it's quite effective and better comprehensive to tell the story.
No, that's wonderful. It's really, I think, creative that you're able to highlight those different perspectives, because you're right, especially here in DC, we often, what is our government saying? What is our government doing? What is our military doing? And what is Taiwan's military doing? What is Taiwan's government thinking? But having that civilian perspective or citizen, regular, everyday people facing perspective, I think it is really, really cool. So the show was originally created for a domestic Taiwan audience, right? It's actually all in partially Mandarin, also in Hakka. It had just different. This has in Japanese, dazzled Taiwanese, and actually some English. Right? So I thought that was really cool. What has the reception been like in Taiwan?
Yeah, like according to the statistics, actually, yeah, it's interestingly this is actually with more male audiences for watching this project, and this is a little bit different from the usual projects in Taiwan. Like usually it would be more female audience.
Like a drama.
Yes, watching dramas, and also the age is actually around like 30 to 50 years old. But for Zero Day Tag is actually younger generations. Like the younger age audience that watch this this series. Yeah, and it's with more male audiences. So it's quite interesting to we explore the new group of audience.
That's really cool. I can't, escape the politics of this all, right? There's been some criticism publicly, obviously, around the media about how this project was funded. Both, I think you received some funds from the Ministry of I think you received some funds from the Ministry of Culture in Taiwan. There were some billionaire backers. Obviously, the NICs much aligned with the views of the Democratic Progressive Party. So the criticism is that you either misuse these government funds, or you're trying to stoke war, you're trying to provoke, right, China. So that's one set of criticism. I've also heard you've had some criticism from the DPP as well, right, that people aren't courageous enough or portrayed courageous enough. Yeah, how do you navigate some of these domestic political tensions? Because on one hand, the national security narratives are really important, right? But if you're creating the show for a Taiwanese audience and that there's this kind of political backlash, how are you navigating that? I'd really be curious to hear your thoughts on
Okay, I think
台湾的政治很分歧，政党的主张也很分歧，但这个其实每个国家都是这个样子。
that politically in Taiwan is very divided. Yeah, but it's not only Taiwan. I think every country is with a similar situation.
但是我要强调，所有人都知道战争是不分颜色的，不管你是蓝色、你是白色或者你是绿色，如果台湾失去了自由跟民主，就会只剩下一个颜色，就是红色。
Yeah, but I want to emphasize that when we face war, it actually everybody is the same, no matter what kind of color or stance you are. So when war just happened, there was only one color, which is red. Yeah.
所以我们应该问的是，为什么每天有几十艘甚至上百艘的飞机跟船舰没有理由的环绕台湾？那中国在任何时候都可以任意的举行军事的演习来压迫台湾。
So the question we should ask is actually like why, like in our daily lives, we need to see many, like frigates of jet fighters coming to the around Taiwan Strait, or even like around Taiwan every day, every single day, and they can come willingly, and also they can do the military drills all the time. That's the question we should ask.
所以就像我们剧中的主角讲的，其实真正的战争早就已经开始了，所以应该问的不是为什么我们要拍这个片，而是为什么要来侵略台湾。
Yeah, so just like the character in the show saying that the war has already begun, we really should ask, it's not about why we make this film, it's all about why they can, come and invade us. It's not fair.
所以我们认为这样的题目早就应该要被提出来讨论，不管你支不支持，其实有这样的讨论，让更多的民众了解战争的本质，或者是面对战争的时候你应该做什么样的准备，这个其实绝对是需要的。
So yeah, I think this is already like, we should have done it as early as possible, right? To initiate the discussions, the dialogues about what kind of things we should prepare when facing wars. I think this is very important to the society we live in, to have this discussion and conversation, and that's what we're doing.
所以台湾文化部或文策院对于影视的支持，事实是每年都有很多类似的案子。那特别是现在我们想要把台湾的影视产业推向国际，那我们觉得这个题目台海的议题刚好是全世界都非常关注的。那我们觉得用这样子的内容来也符合政府的政策，那刚好我们就提出到文策院跟文化部跟其他所有的案子一起接受评选，那我们也得到绝大多数的评选的支持，所以我们来获选得到政府的支持。
Yeah, so it's actually not only our project asking for application or subsidy from the Ministry of Culture or TAICA, who's the creative content agency. So we were just like any other projects in Taiwan that we were just doing a similar thing, asking for funding or application. And actually the government now is also they focusing on international co-production or trying to bring Taiwan content to international markets. So we thought that this is a very international issue and topic that would attract international audience's interest. And that's why we sent out the application and we want to apply for the funding. And it actually earned a lot of the support from the jury, from the judges, and approved the subsidy. Yes.
事实上从结果来看林日攻击从开拍到现在应该有超过100家的国际媒体报道这部作品，那包括我们今天能够来到这边，所以表示其实我们林日攻击是有达到我们预期，有包括政府预期我们做到的效果。
Yeah. So yeah, looking from now, right? Over the course of doing this, the process of making this film and until we release, yeah, like we have received more than 100 media outlets from everywhere in the world to make this coverage and to do the special interviews, and including this one today. Yeah, that's why we're here, right? That we can make our own way to the DC. And to make people discuss our project. And I think so from this end, we actually, achieve the goal that we originally set. And also I think government would be satisfied that we're happy that we bring this really that far.
There's always a saying that, some people's relationship with the press is that any press is good press. I don't know how you guys feel that, but hey, I think sometimes
the exposure.
The more you're exposed in the media, I guess whether it's good or bad, it's the good thing. So, no, really happy that we can be another, media or another way for you to share your story. And
our pleasure.
How has this stirred a conversation, right? You're saying it in Taiwan, right? Because people are watching it. Are they reacting? Do they talk about this a little bit more? Has this changed the way people think about this, right? Because to me, seeing something, whether it's AI generated or not, right? Seeing an image or a video of a scenario that has been talked about for so long really puts images in your mind, right? It almost makes it more real. That could be a very scary thing. So how have people responded, after watching the show?
当我们的 trailer 释出来的时候，很多人都私底下问我说，台湾最后打赢了没？
Yeah, so yeah, like when we released the trailer, at the time it caused a lot of attention. Actually, a lot of my friends asked me, like about, so do we win at the end? Yeah, does Taiwan win later? Yes.
Yeah, 所以表示其实大家对战争，或者说特别是对台湾的安全或者台湾的未来，其实大家心里是关心的，只是大家都放在心里面，并不会每天拿出来讨论。
So yeah, from this we can also learn that actually people care about this topic, and especially for Taiwanese people, it's just that we don't share it every day or discuss it publicly, right?
所以我们在最后一集episode 10最后我们是不用输赢来定义这个战争，而是台湾有没有守住我们现在的生活方式。
So yeah, until the very last episode 10, we want to present that it's not the issue of a win or lose. It's actually we want to present that if we can safeguard our way of life that we're having now.
所以我们期待的其实不是一个欢呼的胜利，其实就像我们现在台湾人每天在过的生活，其实我们就是做好我们的本分，把我们的工作做好，把我们的家人照顾好，把我们的土地顾好。那这个其实我们就是想在这个片子里面传达的。
So yeah, what we want to express is not like the very like the flashlight, just or fireworks show, and it's like one time cheering. It's actually we want to make people understand that cherish the way we have for the ordinary life, everyday life, make it can continue and last. We can have our family having a life, everybody can live their own in freedom. That's actually something we want to express from this series.
所以我再次强调，战争不是只有军队的事，也不是只有政府的事情，因为它跟我们每一个人都相关。所以我们希望很多人在这个作品里面能够看到跟自己所关心的相关的事情，你所爱的人，你喜欢的生活方式。那战争可怕，但是避免战争的方式绝对不是逃避，而是正面的面对它，做好准备。
So yeah, through this series, really just want to highlight that we need to get very well prepared for like facing this issue honestly and frankly, and just because it's not smart to hide it away or to turn it back on this topic. So actually, the good thing is that we need to really encourage people to face it, so that we can really fix it and try to overcome the potential coming of the war. Yes.
And thank you, Jin-Chang, for sharing all that. Obviously, you bring a lot of wisdom and experience to the show. I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit to how your previous working for the National Security Council, working for Taiwan's government, just having that national security perspective, maybe 10, 20 years ago. It's taken, I guess, another almost 20 years to make the show, but how have you brought your previous government experience into this project?
其实我一开始是一个写小说的人，
Yeah.
后来参与了有一个机会参与了台湾的民主选举的改革，所以我在政治服务超过30多年的时间。
Yeah. Well, to be very honest, I was a novelist at the very beginning when I was young. Yes. It's just, when I had the opportunity to get involved with the Democratic, reform election 30 years ago. So, like I've been in this, getting into politics for many, many years, 30 years.
那刚好跟着台湾民主的进程，从台湾的县市长的民选，然后到总统的直选，那以及2000年的台湾第一次的政党轮替，我都很幸运的参与其中。
Yeah, so I had the luck, getting involved. The democracy, the evolution of Taiwanese democracy, from the first time direct, the local election, right? The city elections, and then to the first presidential election, and then to the first party change during the presidential elections. I had the luck getting involved all of them.
所以从2000年到2008年，我在总统府跟国安会一共服务了8年的时间，所以我有机会能够参与到对国家安全相关的一些讨论。那我们每年也会举行相关的兵棋推演，那我们就把过去这些曾经有推演过的一些情境提供给我们的创作者，让他们把它放到戏剧的情境里面去。
So I served in the government from year 2000 to 2008 for 8 years, like also in the National Security Council. And actually every year we had military simulation, war game, like trying to depict the scenarios, how China would invade Taiwan or would attack. So I just used that kind of the different plots, the different scenarios, as material for all our talents, filmmakers reference to develop stories.
那我们过去从政的经验，我发现一个事实就是政治人物要制定一个政策很简单，可是你让民众能够了解甚至支持你的政策是比较困难的。
Okay, so from my past experience in politics, the one thing I really want to highlight and realize is that making policy is very easy, but to make people understand and also support your policy is very difficult.
那但是就像我说，我过去有写小说的经验，我觉得说故事是最能够让人能够理解，而且能够让人感动的。
So, and as I said, I used to be a novelist back in the time. And so telling a story is very important. And I think it's very effective when doing, communication. And it's more easy to touch people's heart.
所以当新妹提出这样子的构想的时候，我觉得战争是很残酷，也是很硬的题材。可是如果我们能够 透过说故事的方式，来呈现战争可能的状况。我觉得这个是一个最好的方式。
So when the producer Xingmei approached me, she saying that she wants to do this warlike topic series. I think yes, the storytelling, because it's really a hard topic. It might be quite boring anyway, but we do it through a storytelling way and telling by doing drama, it's actually more effective, and maybe would be more easily to do, to communicate this emotionally to the general public.
No, we definitely agree. At SUSP, right, we're trying to use these multimedia methods to both get your message across, because especially in the digital age, you just never know, what type of media is the one that will actually convince somebody of something. So it's so cool that you're able to bring it onto the big screen. It's interesting because in the US, we've had stories about Cold War. You have like Russian movies, you have all these stories explored. But I actually did grow up, when I'm growing up, I was always wondering, why have there never been any movies made portraying this kind of US-China conflict or the China-Taiwan conflict? And of course, there's the Hollywood issue. So yeah, no, I'm really glad that you're able to share that with us. So thank you very much. On this topic of, I almost feel like you're now opening a Pandora's box, right? Now that this series has been created, I'm sure there are other producers thinking, oh, wow, they were able to do it. Should we do it too? Or should we do something similar? How do you think your show is now paving the way for future explorations of these similar national security kind of China-Taiwan tension themes?
I think so. Yeah, but I think our executive producer can say this even more clearly.
事实上，这1-2年，我们带着零日攻击到全世界各地去参加一些影展或一些放映会，得到的反响都非常的正面。
So actually, in the past years, we just brought this project to a lot of different countries in the world, and it was actually very well received. We received a lot of good, positive feedback from our international societies.
这个表示其实台湾议题受到的重视，其实不只是在政治方面，其实在全世界的人，我们常常开玩笑，20几年前台湾人出国的时候，常常被人家跟 Thailand 搞不太清楚。那现在包括台海的问题，包括 TSMC， 其实没有人会搞混台湾跟 Thailand。
Yeah, so that also proves that Taiwan issue is actually very visible now in the international society. We joke about like 20 years ago, people confused about Taiwan and Thailand. But now, like with the Taiwan issue or TSMC, everybody is actually well aware of this. This is Taiwan.
所以这样状况，其实我相信不只对我们是鼓励，就像刚刚您说的，我相信会有更多的台湾的创作者，甚至国际的创作者，把台湾的议题、台海的议题，或者是类似的区域或全球的议题。
We believe that after this project, more talents, storytellers would be happy or easier to, brought this kind of topic into the drama or the series, the stories, maybe not only Taiwan issue, but also the global or regional topics that can also be the materials for drama, fictional projects.
Speaking of, right, there's obviously the impact on the production studio. But what about the actor? Is the problem that China and Hollywood have faced, or I guess that Hollywood has faced due to China, has been that every part of the production is impacted, right? The reason why a lot of Hollywood studios either change their endings for the Chinese market or choose to avoid certain topics is precisely because they want to protect their ability to broadcast in China, but also not just that film, but it's like the rest of their film. they want to make sure, like for streaming services, for example, or end up showing one show that's a little bit provocative, there's a chance that the Chinese market will just cut off all of their access. So there are all these problems that Hollywood has dealt with for a long time. They're no problem now. I don't know how much they are actually overcoming them. I feel like they're just kind of exploring other
A lot of
public
them.
continents.
Yes.
But I would actually be curious to hear how has this impacted actors, right? Because same thing. We've seen a lot of American actors issue these very interesting kind of broken Chinese statements about how they're sorry that they said something wrong, because the CCP freaked out about something that they said, right? It seems like it would have been hard to cast this as well, right? So has there been an impact on actors as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes, as far as I know, like yeah, when they were doing the casting, it's already be very difficult. People are, like a lot of actors, they were worried about getting involved in this, and actually the when we were choosing the casting of a president, like president elect in the show. Yeah, it's already been a lot of difficulties finding the right people, but so the producer actually, she may when like one day, like because it was around the time of the presidential election in 2024. So yeah, she saw on TV the Big King Xiao, that at the time was also the one of the candidates. It's also brought her the idea that to find the current the role that Jenny she plays this. But other than that, a lot of actors, they actually got influenced after they got involved in that. That's for sure. Yeah. Do you have something to add on?
事实上，在拍片的过程确实，受到很多的阻碍，特别是很多的人会有自我检查的这个情况。
Yes, along the way when we're doing the casting, or along the production, it's very difficult, and we also find out that the self-censorship is very, like pervasive.
是很多台湾在中国发展的，不管是企业或者是各种行业的，常常都要面对中国要他做表态。那在中国是没有不表态的自由。
Yeah, so yeah, like every like company, business, or individuals, they all like when it's got has something to do with Chinese market, you always need to express or make yourself exposed to the loyalty to Chinese the market or government, right? And so there's no freedom that you cannot say anything, or you're forced to say something that Chinese government want.
所以我相信当这些演员在考虑的时候，一定会有这样子的压力。但是反过来讲，我们也真的也非常的高兴，也非常的佩服有这么多勇敢的从导演、编剧到演员到幕后的工作人员，愿意投入这样连日空袭这样的一个拍摄过程。
So definitely, for long years, it's a great pressure for people who work in this industry. But also that's why also we're happy to see that we got a bunch of talents can dare to join this crew. Behind the scene, the workers, the staff, and also the actors and script writers. They can get involved. It's really nice to see them work, that we can work together.
那我也认为，我们不必用什么样的政治立场或用什么样的颜色来看待这些工作人员。其实他们坚持的只有一个，台湾是一个自由的国家，在台湾的艺人、台湾的创作者应该有创作的自由。
So I don't think we need to label them as like pro-independence or whatever. But what all we believe is actually Taiwan is a free country, and Taiwan is with the freedom to express ourselves very clearly. Yes, freely. Yeah, but I also want to add on that just because I used to work in Taiwan Plus. So yeah, I mean, it's, like self-censorship is everywhere in Taiwan's this industry. So yeah, we also encounter a lot of difficulties when we want to find someone to work with back in the time. And because Taiwan Plus is with Taiwan inside, and so a lot of people would try to escape that. Some agents would tell me that, if we want to ask them to do the slogan, we have a slogan, say, see you on Taiwan Plus, Taiwan to the world, see you on Taiwan Plus. And some agent would say, can we not say, see Taiwan to the world? They just want to say, see you on Taiwan Plus, something like this. So it's everywhere and it's very pervasive. So I think the Zero Day Attack project kind of really also, just make the elephant in the room. It just broke that silo and tried to bring this a new opportunity to encourage people to do more, to do more in this industry.
It seems like the whole story about how this was created, right from its inception, from Xingmei's, and a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it's her universe.
Yeah, to finding the actors and obviously securing funding to be able to do a project like this. It seems like it was a very tough feat. So congratulations on being able to do that. And we're happy that even it's been more than has been a year since it came out, or almost.
Half a year. Yeah, it's in August.
Yeah, at least it's a conversation, right, Annie?
That is one of the most part. So,
before we end, I want to ask, what's next? I know you're working on part 2. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're thinking through what the second part of the story would be like, right? So for those of us in the US who cannot watch the whole series because it's currently only available in Taiwan and Japan, and the story, I don't want to say it ends, but it stops at, like you said, kind of this, can Taiwan just stand its own? Can they safeguard what's existing, right? So what is part 2? And what format are you exploring for this?
Yeah. Well, we have one of the, like the masterminds of the part 2 here. So what kind of secrets you can share?
这几年其实中国对台湾的压迫越来越紧迫。
So yeah, in the past years, the coercion and invasion from pressure from China is getting tighter and tighter.
事实上，习近平主席确实也向解放军提出2027完成对台作战的准备，这样子的宣誓。
So also even like Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, used to make clear that they would be capable of attacking Taiwan or invading Taiwan by 2027.
所以除非解放军或中国放弃武力对付台湾，我觉得这样的故事应该要继续被说下去。
So only that, they publicly denounced the possibility of attacking Taiwan. I think it's necessary that we keep telling stories of this kind.
那也根据国内还有国际的反应跟期待，所以我们应该已经初步决定下一个阶段会用电影的方式来呈现临日攻击的下一个故事。
Yeah, so judging the feedback from both domestic market or also the international feedback, it's very likely that we're gonna continue to make the series part 2, but it would be in the form of a movie, a feature film.
所以 Part 1 的部分，我们放了比较多探讨台湾内部的情境。那下一步我们可能会把更多国际还有区域对台海的关心以及大家所能够扮演的不同角色放到这个戏剧里面去。
So in season 1, we put more focus on depicting Taiwan's like the people from every aspect in Taiwanese people's mind and how they make decisions in terms of making facing the wars. But for our next project, we would include more about the international and regional factors into the story, like how our partners, allies would react to. Yes.
当然这还是一个非常艰难的工作，但是我相信 以我们第一集的这个经验，有这么多优秀的创作者一起参与，我们希望下一部作品能够拍得更好，也希望能够很快的跟大家见面。
Yeah, so it's never easy work, but we have the base, the we already laid the ground for based on the series one, season one. So we think, we're hopeful that we have this excellent talents pools that we can work all together again and make the season two, the second project even better. And hopefully we can bring that to our audience as early as possible.
Well, I'm really excited to see part 2. I do agree that tailoring it towards an international audience is beneficial because I think some of the domestic stories, while they're really important for Taiwanese people to watch, there might be that cultural disconnect or international audience. So I definitely think it's a good idea to focus the international audience for the second part. And I will say, though, I agree, it'll probably be I do expect it'll be challenging because then you'll have to consult with different governments just to make what you're presenting is accurate. And anyway, I really look forward to seeing that second part. So good luck in that journey.
Right. I think you also learned a lot during this trip in the US, right? We're receiving a lot of comments, voices, and perspectives, new inspirations for the new project. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us here in DC, our studio. The purpose of this podcast, Strait Forward, is to introduce Taiwan to a wider array of audiences. Actually, we've expanded our topics now that we're covering film and media, so thank you for helping us do that. But we like to end each episode with a question about what you would recommend from Taiwan. Do you have a Taiwan recommendation? So for someone who's never experienced Taiwan before, is there a book or a movie, obviously a film, or something that you'd recommend from Taiwan for someone who has never experienced it? What would it be and why? Either can start.
非常推荐大家到台湾。台湾是我一直认为它是在全世界找不到任何一个像台湾这样的地方。
Yeah, I strongly recommend everybody come to Taiwan. It's really a very precious, a rare place that you can find in the world.
它是一个小小的岛屿，可是它有非常多样化的生态，从海洋到高山。
Yeah, so environmental, like our environment, we've got a very diversity that's very rarely seen in the world, from the ocean to the high mountains. Yeah, we've got a really diverse, multiple biosystems.
在台北市，你从阳明山开车到海边，其实不到1个小时的时间。
Yeah, like in Taipei, if you drive from the downtown to the nature side, it's only less than a 1 hour drive.
不过我个人还是最推荐大家可以到台湾来爬山，因为台湾超过3000公尺以上的山有超过260座。
Well, yeah, so I really highly recommend everybody come for mountain climbing or hiking because it's a mountainous country. We've got more than 200 mountains exceeding 3,000 meters. Yes.
当你从平地开始往山上走的时候，你会看到完全不同的风景，包括植物，包括动物。
So the landscapes change drastically or very different, if you when you keep climbing from the ground up to the top. So it's very enjoyable.
所以台湾的高山就像台湾一样，它可以容纳非常多元不同的人或者文化，形成了一个非常特别的一个所在。我相信这也是台湾或者台湾的人或台湾的土地最可爱、最特别的地方。
Yeah, so just like the mountains in Taiwan it's very inclusive. You can actually nurture all types of people, all types of creatures. So yeah, just like Taiwanese people with all very different kinds, but can co-live together. So it's really interesting. It's a really rare place that you can really find that diversity. Yeah. So, all right. I mean, this is a really tough question because there are a lot of things we can introduce, but since he talked about mountain climbing, but actually just recently we have like an American guy coming to Taiwan to climb the tower. So it's not only the mountain climbing, the building climbing might also be possible. I don't know, but maybe they ban now. But you can really appreciate that building or the city look too. It's not only nature, but also the city, the skylines, and like the landscape in the city wise is also very, very, very good. Yeah.
I think Alex Honnold's climbing of Taipei 101 was great publicity for Taiwan. And I heard people say, oh, I didn't realize Taiwan had so many tall buildings, that Taipei was so big and that the city's so expansive. I was like, yeah, it's like a big city, like any big city. So there's mountains or buildings.
Exactly right.
A nice fongjing, they can enjoy the nice scenery in Taiwan.
Right. So,
gentlemen, thank you for joining me on Strait Forward. Thank you for sharing your insights. Thank you for translating, David. I'm really appreciative.
Don't criticize me about, I'm not a professional translator.
No, you are. You did a great job. And Jin-Chang, the insights that you shared, I think are just so well received from our side. So I really appreciate you joining us. This is the first time we're doing kind of a bilingual podcast. So I know a lot of our listeners actually speak Chinese or Mandarin.
Right.
Some of them are learning, so maybe this is good.
But I think it would also be great if everybody, the audience, can leave their comments or, like what they can contribute to our new project. It would be also cool that we can have their feedback.
Yeah, so if you have feedback about zero-day attack, send it to straightforward at sc.ui, and then we're happy to pass it along.
Exactly.
All right, well, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to Jin-Chang and David for joining Strait Forward. I want to come back to something that Jin-Chang said, his lesson from when he worked in government, which is that making policy is easy, but getting the public to understand why you're pursuing that policy is a lot harder. I think those of us in DC, in capitals around the world, who are thinking every day about how to make better policies, to shape the better future that we would like, we do grapple with this a lot, right? How do you convince people that what we're working on matters, that the ideas and the topics that we're exploring, the policies that we want to champion, that these are important for the future of our world? And I think that our conversation today really helped shed light on the importance of having some kind of film or media portrayal of all of these topics. I mean, here at SCSP, we're trying to do that too, right? Trying to use storytelling as a way to help people understand the challenges that we face, because there are no shortage of challenges that we face from the Chinese Communist Party. I think the premise of the show, that the war has already begun and different parts of Taiwanese society need to start thinking about how to react, is a very powerful idea. In some ways, the gray zone tactics, the cognitive warfare, all these topics that we've previously discussed on Strait Forward are all part of the reality that everyday people face. It's just that because it's so taboo, sometimes people don't want to talk about it every day. It almost seems like you can hide from the threat, right? But the show really puts it in your face and makes every one of us who watches it think about, what if that happened to me? I found it really interesting how David and Jin-Chang also explained the challenges, that their studio faced when trying to recruit, but also how easy it was to find directors who were enthusiastic about hopping on a project like this. As much as Hollywood would like to exist in their bubble, unfortunately, the film industry is not, safe or protected from CCP influence. I mean, pressure, they've experienced it already. And I do hope that the fact that Zero Day Attack exists now out in the world, future studios might consider exploring these topics further. So thank you to our listeners today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. We have a lot more fun episodes coming up, so get ready for those. And with that, I look straight forward to seeing you next time.